The 21st verse of the Tao Te Ching. Quote, "The greatest virtue is to follow the Tao, and the Tao alone. The Tao is elusive and intangible. Although formless and intangible, it gives rise to form. Although vague and elusive, it gives rise to shapes. Although dark and obscure, it is the spirit, the essence, the life breath of all things. Throughout the ages, its name has been preserved in order to recall the beginning of all things. How do I know the ways of all things at the beginning? I look inside myself and see what is within me." End quote. Living the Elusive Paradox. Here in this 21st verse of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu takes us back to the book's very first premise, living the mystery. He has returned to the idea's definition and virtue and reaffirmed it with greater clarity and precision. In this lesson, he not only asks us to become conscious of the elusive nature of the Tao, a principle that simply cannot be pinned down or experienced with the senses, but to also validate this awareness by recognizing ourselves as examples of this elusive paradox. Reread the concluding lines of this important verse. How do I know the ways of all things at the beginning? I look inside myself and see what is within me. Now go all the way back to your own beginning. How did you get here? I don't mean from a droplet or particle of human protoplasm. Go even before that. Quantum physics teaches that particles emerge from an invisible and formless energy field. So all creation, including your own, is a function of motion, from formless energy to form, from spirit to body, from the nameless Tao to a named object. The process of creation, along with the theme of understanding eternal namelessness, runs throughout the Tao Te Ching. This is the elusive paradox that you're invited to contemplate, allow, and experience. You can know it by examining your own nature and recognizing that the same principle that creates everything is animating your every thought and action. Right now, make a simple decision to move your index finger. Now wiggle your toes. Next, lift your arm. Finally, ask yourself, what is it that allows me to make these movements? In other words, what is it that allows you to see shapes and colors? What force behind your eyes invisibly signals you to process the sky as blue or a tree as tall? What is the formless energy that tweaks a vibration somewhere in your ear to give rise to sound? What it all is formless and nameless. Yes, it is vague. Yes, it is obscure. And when you begin to see the world in this manner, you begin knowing that aspect of yourself. This is what Lao Tzu describes as the life breath of all things, and it needn't remain a mystery. You have the same eternal Tao inside of you, and you apply it 1,000,000 times a day. It's within you. It is you. This far-reaching verse of the Tao Te Ching asks you to let go of seeking results in money, accomplishments, acquisitions, fame, and so on. Instead, shift your attention to the energy in the beginning of all things, the elusive and intangible Tao. The greatest virtue is to find this nameless, formless force within yourself, know it by looking within, and seeing it at work in all of your thoughts and actions. This is what Lao Tzu was conveying to you more than 2,500 years before your birth. First, have an unquenchable thirst for the intangible and enigmatic force that supports all of life. Communicate with the Source regularly. Ask for its guidance and meditate on its sacredness. The more you practice benevolent reverence for the invisible Tao, the more you'll feel connected to it. The presence of a known connection with the Tao will release you from the worry and stress and anxiety that are ego's way of looking at the world. While others around you may stay focused on their pursuit of wealth and fame and power, you'll notice it and smile compassionately as you practice being in a state of appreciation for the life breath of all things, including yourself. You'll feel safe and secure knowing that you're in a divine partnership with the all-knowing, all-providing Tao. I suggest that you simply take a moment or two several times a day to say aloud, "Thank you, God, for everything." Make this your own personal, respectful ritual. In fact, just a moment ago I said these very words, "Thank you, God, for allowing these words to appear, supposedly from my pen. I know that the source of everything, including these words, is the elusive and intangible Tao." And secondly, memorize the final 2 lines of this verse and silently recite them when needed. Repeat these 2 sentences. How do I know the ways of all things at the beginning? I look inside myself and see what is within me. Doing so will remind you that the Tao comes from the truth that's inside of you at all times. Give up trying to persuade anyone else of the correctness of your vision. When they're ready, their own teachers will surely appear. Here's a concluding thought on the elusive nature of the Tao, written by Hafiz many centuries before the death of Lao Tzu, the great Sufi poet. Hafiz, quote, "If you think that the truth can be known from words, if you think that the sun and the ocean can pass through that tiny opening called the mouth, oh, someone should start laughing. Someone should start wildly laughing. Now." End quote. Do the Tao now. Today, become conscious of the force that allows your every movement. For 5 minutes in your meditation, stay in the gap between your thoughts and notice the elusive but omnipresent invisible source that allows you to speak, hear, touch, and move. I personally have created a meditation that can assist you in this process, and it's included in my book called Getting in the Gap.